In the words of Bill Murray, they say an elephant never forgets. What they don't tell you is you never forget an elephant. Let's go!
So first of all, guys, these are our personal views, and you should definitely do your own research if you're interested in doing this also. If you're interested, check out their website at www.wfft.org.
Okay, so we're going to start off today's episode on a slightly lower note. We're going to talk about the whole Pajam process, and we just want to send a clear message on how they got here and why it's so important that you know this, because there's still so many elephants around the world that go through this and that will continue to go through this until it's made illegal.
Yeah.
All our elephants in this centre come from human command obeying industries such as circuses, movies, tourist tracking, and forest logging. The forest logging ended in Thailand in 1989, but unfortunately, all these other industries are still legal.
So, as elephants are wild animals, they cannot be trained by reward. Humans put them through this horrible process called pajan, which breaks their wild spirit.
Yeah, and they use things like bull hooks and really strong tasers to make them feel pain. They starve them, they tie them up, they put them in tiny crates and restrict their movement. Eventually, this can take up to a few months, but after the elephant will call out a cry of submission.
Yeah, we saw this on video actually, which originally we just like heard about it through the initial
We went on a tour.
through an
Yeah,
initial tour.
and we got told about it.
But it wasn't as horrible that obviously seeing it,
Yeah, so like we're telling you now, and you're obviously imagining what the elephant goes through and how horrible that is, and then we actually watched footage of it, and it's like
It's
a
horrible.
1,000 times worse than what you're thinking right now. It's horrendous.
So through this torture, they end up with damaged rat skin on their heads from the bullhook that never recovers. They have torn up ears and other damage on their bodies, such as unnatural dented spine, which should be naturally curved because elephants can only carry something like 50 kilos for only like 4 hours a day. However, they make them carry much more and for at least double the time, which creates the dented spines which they shouldn't have, and it's very painful for them.
Yeah. And after they call out that cry of submission, the torture doesn't end there. Like, occasionally they might disobey or just not follow an order, and they'll be punished with a bull hook, or they will be starved again, or they'll be punished in like another way. So it's not like, oh, well, at least after that few months of hell, like, everything's rosy in the garden. It's not. It's really not.
Yeah, and if you think, just the logging industry, they must drag like massive tree logs like through the forest. It's just absolutely horrendous, yeah. And like many rescue elephants don't actually show their personality for up to a couple of months or even years in the sanctuary environment, as they have been suppressed for so long and need to learn how to be elephants again.
Yeah. So please, please, please don't support any animal cruelty in tourism. If you pay to see it, you pay for it to happen, and that's the bottom line. You can visit genuine sanctuaries like WFFT. You can go as a tourist or you can volunteer there. You can visit national parks so you can have like a close up natural experience with these beautiful creatures.
Yeah, and like laws are slowly changing, but as a tourist, you have the most power. There is many other ways you can see and interact with like many animals, such as elephants. So there is no excuse for you to support such horrendous cruelty. Please don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get to the real shit. Yeah, our experience working in the Elephant Refuge. So as a surprise, we mostly actually worked and led together on many teams.
Oh
so
yeah, woo!
that
We
was
were
quite
team
cool.
leading.
Yeah. So Laurie, let's kick it off.
Yeah, so all the safety info we needed to know. So there's electric fences around their enclosures. So during the night, they're usually on from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So you've got to watch out for that, and you've always got to make sure that it's off before you approach it.
Yeah, but it's not lethal, okay? Even as a human, if you get zapped, it doesn't really cause much
Still, I
damage.
don't want to get zapped
Oh
by
yeah,
it.
definitely, but it's just like a
Yeah.
warning thing.
Yeah, and you can only approach the elephants when their mahout is around. So a mahout is someone who is assigned to an elephant and they've had elephant training and they've created a bond with this elephant. So yeah, if you ever want to approach them, if you want to touch them, feed them, you always have to ask or they give you the go ahead. Um, and you'll hear the mahouts speak to them in Thai and use commands in Thai, like, come over here, move forward, or whatever. And you're recommended, like, not to try and copy that because,
Yeah,
like, you're just not gonna be, what's it called? Like, you're
as
not,
effective. Yeah.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to do it because, like, there's so many similar sounding words in Thai and,
And
like,
also, the elephant usually follows you only because you have food. Like they would need
yeah.
to get used to you and everything like that. So
Yeah, so they're just like, don't waste your time and like leave the mahouts to do their job.
yeah,
And also, we got told to like use our common sense. Like, obviously, these are the largest land mammals, and they're huge, and they can be dangerous. So we need to be
yeah.
careful.
So with that, we should look for their body language. They told us if the elephant stops with their ears like forward or like back at their head, like it's being wary about something, and if it's like flapping its ears back and forth and like the tail is wagging, that's like a good sign. They're happy about that. Um, so that's quite normal. Obviously, they can give off some other signs like how would you say like
Sometimes they like slap their trunk on the ground, or they'll
they make like
start
a growl.
trumpeting. Yeah, they can rumble, and they also can like charge and stuff like that. But like the mahouts are ace. They always
Yeah,
like manage to
prevent.
prevent, and they can see all of this before it actually happens.
So with their feet, actually, they have very soft feet. So you always need to be like wary where they are because maybe they could be behind you, and because of their soft feet, you couldn't hear them. Then you could look back, like get a scare. And they told us like don't freak out around them. Try to be calm because if you freak out, the elephant can freak out, and that would be a good situation. Um, Also, they have a blind spot, which is directly in front of them, and also obviously behind them. So you shouldn't like startle them from these positions, or like
Yeah,
just use common sense,
yeah,
really.
and a lot of elephants are blind in one eye as
Yeah.
well. Like, I'm not sure if it was like caused through their process or
Yeah.
in their previous like camps or whatever like that, but like a lot of our elephants are blind on their left eye.
So you
So
always approach them from the right. Yeah.
yeah, and like you speak to them because they've got like really good hearing. So you just like when you approach them, you're just like, hey sweetie, like blah blah blah, so they are like aware that you're there. Okay, so we're just going to tell you a bit about like our general day. So because we're now working with the elephants, it's a very similar routine like every day in like every department you're on, even though it's like different elephants you're working with, because they're elephants. They pretty much all eat the same. There's just a few exceptions with some of them, so that's when it starts to vary.
So the routine on each group is quite similar.
Yeah. So every day we make banana balls for breakfast, and it's we just get massive bowls and we pick like 30 bananas for each bowl. We peel them, we mash them up with our hands, and then once they're all mashed up, we add in 2 bowls of bran, and then we like mash that in like a dough, and then once it's like the right consistency, we then add like 2 bowls of pellets, and we mix that all in, and then we usually like divide the bowl into like 8 sections and then roll them up into balls, and then that's their banana balls.
Yay! And in the afternoon, most of the elephants also get like a special special bowl of this tamarind. Um, what
Yeah.
is it really? It's like
So
a
tamarind,
fruit
it's
or
kind of like, yeah, it's like
yeah.
kind of like a dried fruit herb thing.
Yeah, it
So
should
like,
stimulate their digestion.
yeah, so they get like this massive ball of tamarind like rolled in salt, and then we like hide that in one of the banana balls as well, and it like, yeah, it helps aid their digestion. And apparently like elephants dig for salt in the wild as well, so they just like add that in
So
as
it's
well.
very cool that they are looking for all these different ways to supplement
Yeah.
different things. So after that, we would usually make enrichments. So in the wildlife, there was much smaller things actually. So in here you need to scale things up. So you would usually use tires for many things. You would put like fruit parcels into them. Parcels, you would make them from banana tree peels. Yeah.
Mhm.
You could also do like floating logs. So you would get a banana tree log, dig a hole in it. It's one of my favorite things to do, right? And then you would stuff it with fruit, cover it with a lid, and then like put it. You could throw it into the lake. It would just always float. So you could also do different things like a raft. It's quite funny because you feel like a kid again, like building
Oh
things,
yeah.
and it's very crafty.
Yeah, it takes us like 20 minutes to make one, and it literally
Yeah,
takes the elephants
yeah,
20 seconds
it
to
just
get
like
in.
steps in it. And
Yeah. They're so
obviously, it
funny.
still stimulates their curiosity and intelligence. Like
Yeah.
Laurie loves making this one enrichment called hanging fruit.
I love it because it's easy and it's in an ace enclosure. So like, I just like I attach a piece of fruit to each side of a string, and then you make heaps of it, and then you go into this forest and like hang them up, and it encourages the elephants to like go into like forest and like all these little pathways and like yeah, it's really exciting because you don't find any of the fruit the next day, so you're like they got it all.
And that leads us to the actual next point that we would be doing that day, and that's the cleaning of the enclosures.
Yeah, so we go in and clean their enclosure. So we pick up all the poop, we pick up all the old food, which is classed as composting, and we take out all their enrichment. So any tires and stuff like that that we've been using, bags or whatever, rope, we need to take that all out and we need to like wash it out and stack it all away neatly again.
And also with the composting and the poop rounds, you actually store everything in their separate piles, and they are getting reused. So they are really trying to recycle as much of the waste and different things as possible.
Yeah, they use a lot of the poop to like grow grass again and stuff like that. It's really cool.
So what's next in a day?
Yeah, so throughout their normal daily routines, there's usually some walking, feeding, and some washing of the elephants. So it depends on which team you're on that day. Some teams are completely hands off. Some teams are like quite tourist based, like tourists will interact with them, like washing and feeding them. So you might not do it because tourists do it and they don't want to like, over interact with the elephants or make them annoyed. So yeah, so it just depends. So yeah, there is lots of it depend. Like I said, it depends what team you're on.
There
But
might
yeah,
be.
you definitely always feed your elephants, and you most of them get walked. Yeah.
So then, like the other part of the day would obviously be special projects as in wildlife. One of the most common ones that we had was actually pond cleaning. So you would have these like big ponds here, but they would be overgrown with like this weed.
Yeah,
It would
kind of.
be on the
I don't know if
surface.
it's called a lily, but
Yeah.
it's like this green weed. So they've made kind of like massive lakes, and then they've built an island in the middle, and then they release gibbons there, and gibbons don't swim, so they don't. It's like a deterrent. Like they won't want to leave that little island. So we have to go around clearing all these lilies to prevent gibbons from thinking they can like run out onto them. So yeah, it's like it's a really fun job, and like the level of like the lake, like the ground of the lake is very uneven, so you think like okay, I'll just go up to my knees, and then you end up slipping and sliding all the way in. And yeah, you're like pulling them out. They're really
It's
heavy
mental. And also there is spiders everywhere.
everywhere.
Like the water
Everywhere and
spiders.
they run on the water. So it's not even like they run out from the lilies, run onto the water, and then sometimes they like go under the water. And you're like, what the fuck? Where did that go? And most of them are like, they're not that big. It's like, okay, but me and Yuri has
Oh
been,
my
we're
god.
like, we've both felt like clawing at our knees and elbows and stuff, and it's just fucking massive spiders.
Yeah, one of them was on my knee and it was holding like a big sack
Stop.
of like the axe.
God.
And then you see it and you're like shit, and you kind of like shake it off, but then it goes under the water. And
Yeah.
it's all like the pond is muddy. So
You
you're
can't
like just
see.
like shit.
Yeah.
Let's just get on with this.
Yeah, you just ignore kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
I wear gloves and just yeah. Yeah, we've ended up basically up to our head in the lake every time.
Pretty mental.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, so the mahouts that work with the elephants, these guys are ace. Like their English isn't that good. Like they know only basic English, or they point to things, or like two salads or whatever. But they're
Accident.
yeah, but they're really funny, and they've got like really good sense of humors, and they like having a laugh with you. So there's been like a long standing joke since we got here. So they say a lot Leo Leo, which is like quick quick, fast fast. So you're in composting or whatever, and they're like Leo 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 Leo, like laughing all the time. Even if it's your day off, or if they're like driving past and you're on a different team, they're shouting at you. And they also use toot. So toot means ladyboy. So they call all the men this. So they're like, you, King Toot, and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah,
really funny.
I've been called that.
Yeah, like literally everyone. And you're like, no, you're like King Toot Mahoot and stuff. And it's so funny. Like, so yeah, it hasn't got old yet. And yeah, we've got a couple of favourites. Our favourite mahouts are Non and Yoon. And they're super nice and they're really funny. And yeah,
Very
they're,
helpful always.
yeah.
Yeah. And last thing we want to mention as like a general thing is the harvest, right? So we've mentioned all these like enrichments with the banana trees and different things, including banana trees. And obviously you need to get them from somewhere. So they get volunteers every second day. You would get maybe 12 to 16 volunteers, sometimes even less. And you would go to like some plantation.
Yeah, a local field.
So it could be anywhere from like 15 minutes to like 45 minutes in a car, right? On this like truck. And you get there and you wait for the mahouts maybe 15 minutes for them to chop off some trees, and then you basically try to get them on your shoulder and carry them to the truck, and you need to fill up the truck.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like all the sites are different. So some of them are like, quite what is it like?
Quite straight ground, right?
Yeah, like even ground. So some of
Yeah.
it will be really even ground, like close to the truck. And then the next day, like another site, it's like really uneven ground, and it's like far away from the truck, and it's just really fucking tight in and really heavy, these trees, like super heavy. It's crazy.
So like the first harvest we did was the worst. It was absolutely crazy. It was very wet, so it makes it much harder for you to pick up the trees and put them on your shoulder and stuff. And we also, Laurie and I did something very silly. We were both wearing raincoats.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and obviously our skin couldn't breathe properly as the physical exercise was very intense. So we were sweating like it was absolutely mental, yeah. And also the ground there and the location was like very uneven, so you had these very deep like trenches.
Yeah, it was
Oh
like
my.
trenches and like potholes. So like, not only did you have a fucking massive tree on your shoulder or hip or whatever, you're also looking and assessing like wherever you can put your feet so you don't break your ankle. It was crazy.
Yeah. So there's it's usually quite fun actually. It's a good exercise. It lasts like 2 hours and you feel really good afterwards, especially like driving back to the center when you the wind, and it's
Yeah.
just really nice.
And obviously like you see like how much the elephants enjoy the trees and how much everyone uses it, and it's really cool. Yeah, and like when you cut these trees as well, like they regrow back. So within a year you'll be able to like use that tree again. So it's really nice that you don't just like kill all the trees and take them. It's like they just grow back. It's really cool.
But obviously there is no denying that it's absolutely like physically crazy.
Oh yeah, this is really physically demanding.
So now we can mention some of the groups actually we worked with and some of the elephants and what was special about their routines and stuff like that. Some cool info. So just to give you an idea, the whole Elephant Refuge has 3 parts to it. It's Midlands, Newlands, and Project 4. It's massive. Yeah, I can't remember the actual like numbers, like whatever hectares this is, right? But it's really good, and they've just been adding this to the previous one, and they're just expanding.
Yeah, so one of the locations that we worked in was Project 4. And up there on one of the teams, we had 5 elephants. And like, just to give you an idea of how the day went, it was, or something like that jumps out that I can remember was we got to wash the elephants there, which is pretty cool. So you kind of hose them down with water. You just do things like, don't spray it in their eyes, and they always like do things like go into lakes and get heaps of mud on them and stuff like that. So you're usually trying to like get all the mud off, and you can use some brushes and like to help you get that
They
off.
also do this thing with the grass on their heads, and
Yeah, so a lot of the elephants will like flick grass and put like earth and things on their back, and it's kind of like a sunscreen. It just protects them from like the sun and all the bugs
but
and
a lot of
stuff.
the times they put like actually the grass ends up on their head, so it looks like
Yeah,
hair.
and or it looks like they've got like a plant like growing out of them. Yeah,
It's
it's
really
really
funny.
cute. Yeah. On that team, you make lots and lots of enrichments. There's like a cleaning list that you go through and check, and yeah, and whenever you're finished, you check to see if the other team needs any help. And yeah,
There's only 2 teams on Project 4.
yeah, and like
It's quite private there.
yeah, and you have to like get things yourself, which you wouldn't usually have to get on all the other locations. So if you want like banana leaves, you've got to like strip them off yourself. If you want a fruit log, like you just ask the mahout and he'll cut it for you. But if you want banana string, you've got to peel it yourself. And on these other projects, it's kind of already done for you. So yeah, but I like it up there. It's really cool, and yeah,
It's
it's
very
nice.
quiet.
And
It's
one of the
quiet.
elephants there, so on each team, there's always like something different, or like there's an exception. So one of the elephants up there only eats banana and sweet corn. Like she doesn't like any other fruit. So you're making like buckets for all the other elephants, and then you have to remember about Thong Man. She like doesn't eat banana balls in the afternoon because she's not really food orientated. So you like put her tamarind ball in the like banana balls in the morning, and it's just like
She's so slow.
yeah, she's so slow and so sweet. Like there's so much things to like remember on each department, and it's really nice. Like it's really nice when there's someone different
Yeah,
on it.
one of those elephants there of these 5 also didn't like scratching or like the washing.
Oh, that's Chalk
Ah,
D.
Chokdi, yeah.
Yeah, Chalk D can be a bit temperamental, and she's actually hands off. So yeah, we just spray her with the water, but we don't actually touch her, and we feed her banana balls, but it's like through the barrier. Yeah. So but she just like yeah, she's fine if you like leave her alone.
So the next location we worked in, we actually worked in all of them, so we'll just like talk about all of them, but we only worked in 2 teams in Midlands. So the first one was the family, they call it, right? So there's this big enclosure that's houses 4 elephants, and 2 of them are actually mother and a daughter, right? So they're called Pin and Poon, so usually it's like say I'm on Pin and Poon today. They're very hands off, like you're not, washing them or walking them or anything really, because the other 2 elephants, they're called the aunties, right? I'm not gonna try pronouncing their names actually. Um, One of them got pretty agitated, like recently, so she actually was chasing one of her mahouts around, and it was quite dangerous. So
Yeah, he got hurt, but he's okay. Yeah.
yeah, it was because of like changes of schedules. Like they got kind of like agitated with the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
they were separating Pin and Poon, the mum and the baby, into a night enclosure during the night. And so they were basically separating them during the night. And one of the aunties just didn't adapt to it very well and became agitated and expressed that.
yeah, so Pin, yeah, let's set the record straight. The cutest bloody thing you can imagine, right? Like seriously, like such a cute baby elephant. Still, she's like 3.5 or something.
Yeah, she's like massive,
Yeah, well, obviously
but
compared to
she's
like
still
us.
so cute.
Yeah, because you can see it's still like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she never actually went through the pajam process. So she's very wild. Like if you're trying to feed her, she just walks around, doesn't give a fuck,
Yeah,
right?
she's hilarious,
Oh
and
my
she
God.
like, the aunties and the mum really want their banana balls, and you're feeding them, and she's like walking in front of them all and putting her trunk up into their mouths
Yeah,
and stuff, like
that's hilarious.
trying to eat their food, and it's like it's funny.
Yeah, Laurie, tell them the story that happened on the last day.
Oh, what, when I was feeding Pin? Yeah, so I was like breaking up some food and like feeding them all. And then Pin like walked right in front of her mum and she like does it side on as well. So it's like even taking up more space. And her mum like wanted the food really bad. So she had her head like above Pin and just like opened her mouth like full on like a crocodile would. And I was like, I can't reach you because she's massively tall, yeah. I was like, what do you want me to do? And she stood there with her mouth open for like a full minute, yeah. So I was like, okay, so I just threw this like massive, like the core
The
of the
core of
banana
the
tree,
banana
yeah.
tree.
And
Yeah.
it like went right in her mouth, yeah. And she was like so happy. And like, as well,
We were all just watching it like, what just happened?
yeah, it was mental. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen an elephant do that, like properly opened her mouth, just waiting for ages for food to go directly into it. Yeah.
So yeah, that was so cool. So another special thing on this group is you when you go clean the enclosure, it's so big that it's like usually I would grab the poop card because like it's just like one simple thing, and you just like go around and like take all the poo, right? Um, and oh my god, you would end up with such a like full poo cart.
Yeah.
It would be so heavy. Like on the what's the other one? The cart. The
Oh, the
compost cart,
compost,
right?
yeah.
It's like you need to. There's like piles you need to pick them up, and it's just like such a hassle. Or like you're also spreading like enrichments. I never
Yeah.
liked it, right? So I just always went for the poo. But this like group could just kill your back. Like
Yeah.
it's so bad.
Okay, yeah, and another team that we did on Midlands was Alicia and Malai, and these elephants were our absolute
Oh,
favourites, and it was such a great team to be on because, well, firstly, just being in Midlands in general, because whenever you finish a task, there's like 4 teams all together. You just go to the other teams and offer help, and you always like help together. Like you go there together and you leave there together. Like no one leaves early.
it's such a great community there.
Yeah, it's really nice. So, these guys are awesome. Like you give them, they get massive like salad bowls, and they get their banana balls, and these ones get like the longest walk ever. So you walk them from their enclosure all the way to Project 4, and it's just
It's like a
ace.
20-minute walk.
Yeah, it's so 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 nice. Yeah, and Alicia, like she's so funny. Like she can be temperamental sometimes, but she's been really nice with me and Yiri. Like you've got to be really fast when you walk her, and she doesn't like you being too close with her. And she like stops a lot, and yeah, she's just basically a little menace. And then Malai, she's like so sweet and so slow and so lovely. Like, and she's not that food orientated, and she'll just like gaze into your eyes and like, oh,
It's
she's just
so amazing.
she's just amazing.
And just to give you an idea, both these elephants are around like 60 years of age.
Yeah.
Not in
Yeah.
their age, like in our age. Like
Yeah.
that's mental.
It's crazy. And like yeah,
So we're
like
just going for a walk with these two like old ladies, right? And you just their presence is so different. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like as Laurie said with like Malai on one of our walks, like she would come so close to you that she would like look right at you into your
yeah.
eyes. It would be like
Yeah.
so strange. Like she made that connection with you. It was so weird.
Yeah, she's also like one of the only elephants that I've felt like really safe around. Like I've always been a bit wary whatever elephant that I'm around because obviously they're massive and they can do whatever they want. So like, but yeah, you just feel super safe around her. She's got like this really nice energy. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, but Alicia just doesn't give a fuck
Yeah, and
sometimes.
also like because Alicia walks so fast, sometimes Malai actually freaks out because like they're so far apart, and Malai runs after her. It's really cute.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. She like panics and starts running towards her because she can't see it anymore.
And by the way, Alicia actually had two different like partners in her closure before, but she wasn't getting along with them. So
Oh.
Malai actually is the only one she gets along, very
Yeah,
well.
then they're like best
Like two
friends. It's so
sisters,
cute,
yeah.
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, and on so like because we walk them all the way to Project 4 in the morning, when we go to collect them in the afternoon, the mahout comes and like picks us up on like it's like a motorbike, and then it's got this like bit attached to
Yeah,
it.
it's like a sidecar.
Yeah, it's like a sidecar, and people can fit in it. So yeah, he collects us, and it's really fun. We
Yeah,
go.
it's like the best part of the day when you're just driving to Project 4 and the wind is just like making you cool down a little bit.
Yeah, and Yoon's their mahout, and he's ace, and you just yeah, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that team.
And we also did the Newlands ones, where you're taking care of 5 elephants, but they are not all in the same enclosure. And actually, Newlands are housing this the only male elephant in the center, who is 13, and oh my god, this elephant is absolutely crazy, right? So it's the most dangerous animal in the center. It was rescued from the begging industry when only 2 years old, so it's actually like truly wild, and you can feel it and see it. Yeah, this elephant is not like afraid of anything. It's not like the female elephants. Yeah, it's very like it wants to play with everything and everyone, and obviously that would mean to you broken bones. Yeah, if he got hold of you, because sometimes he even runs. There's like a road beside the enclosure, and apparently once he got hold of a car.
Yeah, he got hold of like a truck and was trying to pull it in, but the driver managed to keep, on reverse and stuff like that and managed to get away. But yeah. But
Mental.
also on that note, he is super, super, super beautiful and
Yeah,
cute.
he's so cute,
Yeah,
but yeah,
like I think
he's just
a
playing.
lot
Yeah.
of the time because he throws rocks and stuff like that as well. Like he picks things up and throws them and
What a little
throws them
shit.
at you. But I think he's doing it for attention because I think he sees everyone else getting attention and he's like, maybe wanting the interaction, but it's
Yeah.
too dangerous for us. And yeah, it's a
But
sad.
basically, he's growing increasingly dominant with age, which is normal. And at a certain point in their life, like the male gets singled out from the group. Like, how would you say that? They actually
Yeah, they like send them off from the family to like
and
start their own herd type
and
thing.
the male usually finds like an older male elephant that teaches them how to elephant in nature, which is pretty interesting. So in the Newlands team, you're on a truck a lot because you're going in between those two enclosures that, you know, it's quite a big chunk of space to cover. So there's a lot of happening on a truck, which is quite cool and it's different from the other places. Um, and also in the afternoon when there's like tourist groups and stuff, you see the elephants actually going into the lake. They like throw fruit in the lake for them, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
Like
it's
they
one
look
of the
so
most cool
happy.
things I've seen here. Yeah, they go like they go right in the water and they're like fully submerged and you just see the top of their head like bobbing about and then when they come out the lake they've got lilies on their heads. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's really nice. And this Newlands team actually overall, there's only one team. It's quite relaxed, and we only experienced it once, but it was okay. But Midlands, Alicia Malay, that's our girls. So as for trips, we've done like two in when we were in the center here. So let's see what it was
Yeah, we went to Wahin
again.
again, yeah, on our days off, and we went to the cinema like twice because really miss movies. So we saw Mission Impossible, the new movie, and it was really good.
Laurie didn't want to see it at all,
I know, and
but
I
then she
loved
loved it.
it. Yeah, and the cinema in Blueport is so nice. Like it's really nice. And then we also went and saw Winnie the Pooh.
No,
As
it's called Christopher
oh,
Robin.
but basically it's
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie.
Yeah, and it was really quite sad.
Yeah, but Ewan McGregor was in it, and he's amazing.
Yeah,
So
I know. It was good.
we watched it.
Yeah, and when we were there, we just kind of relaxed. We got a nice hotel. We went to this new restaurant that we never went to before called the Social Salad, and it's really cool. Like it had different salads that you could build up. There was things that were clearly stated vegan. They did like black bean patties and. They did quite a few
I had the
dishes.
fried
Yeah,
rice
you had fried rice. Yeah,
with the chilies and stuff. It was good.
yeah, like
It was different. Yeah.
yeah, and it had like other food as well. It was really nice. And then we also went to the vegan restaurant again, and I got the most amazing thing ever. I got it was like a tuna melt made out of jackfruit, and I haven't had tuna in years. So, and it honestly tasted so nice, and it looked really real because like the jackfruit's like really flaky and stuff like that. And I was like, and it was served on like sweet crusty bread. So I don't know if maybe they did that because like some people eat it with sweet corn. But I was like, Yuri, you need to try this. And he was like, no, I'm fine, I'm full. I was like, no, it tastes like tuna. It's freaky. Like, you have to try it. And he tried it and he was like, what? This is so good.
It was such a layered taste. It was really
Yeah, it was really
weird.
familiar. Like, very similar
But it
to
was coming
tuna.
in waves. Like it was like, you were really discovering the flavor. It
Yeah,
was really
because like the
strange.
texture was right, then they like made the sauce that was right. It was really weird. Yeah.
Quite cool though.
It was nice. Yeah, I would get it again.
And the second thing we did on a day off was everyone, there was an opportunity to go to a local spa. You only pay 300 baht to get there on this like local taxi. And it's meant to have a pool and there's like hot showers, which is like bloody like awesome here, and what else is there, like massages, but very expensive ones. So we thought, let's just go there to be at the pool, to use Wi-Fi and stuff. So on one day we went there, it was only me and Laurie and the receptionist with this like owner, and it looked like some post-apocalyptic future.
Yeah, it was like a ghost town.
Oh my god, the
And the
Wi-Fi didn't work at all.
Yeah, and the pool was like really dirty. It was like you could see like like looking at it, it had like different shades of color in the pool. Like there would be like yellow tinge, and then it would be like normal and really like dirty. And I was like,
It,
oh my
we
god.
didn't understand why were people recommending it. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But it had so much potential. There was like these cabins everywhere. It looked very private, like very nice
Yeah,
overall.
it looked really pretty, yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, at least I'm gonna get like a shower out of this. I'm gonna go have a shower at the end. And then the guy was like, yeah, over there. And I'm like, yeah, but where? And then this woman like walked me like so far away and was like, and just pointed at this hut. And I was like, what, in there? And then she like showed me in, and I was like, okay. And it was like a shower, like a spout shower. It wasn't like a shower head. And I turned it on and it like started gushing water, but like really irregularly. So like my fucking towel got soaked and the water was like brown, and I was like, I'm not showering here. I was like, I'll just wait till we get
We
back.
tried to like tan a little bit and then we just went back to the center. It was such a waste of time, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Okay, on today's Yiri's awkward moment section, Yiri managed
Oh,
to break a pipe.
Aerial Project 4.
Yeah, so we're up at Project 4, right? And there's like these, like the tires are massive. They're like tractor tires, yeah. So Yuri's like, wheeling this thing round and stacking it. And like, well, you have to wash them first. So I think he was like doing that. And then like,
Yeah, I was
he
trying to get
turned
the
his
water from
back.
inside the tire, so I was like making it like to go flat on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's these like three massive containers for water that are connected with pipes, but the pipes are above ground, but also like underneath the platform you're on. So the tire fell in like down
Yeah, the tire just like bounced like down and smashed it, yeah.
the
And
pipe.
like Yuri was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Laurie, Laurie,
So the
Laurie,
water
like,
goes.
come here, yeah. It was something out of a movie, yeah. Like there was just fucking water everywhere. Yuri in full blown panic mode, yeah. And I was like just standing looking at him, and I was like, will you calm down? Like it's
No,
water.
the water was
Like going
like a
every like
gazier, yeah.
Yuri was soaked like from head to toe. Like
I was trying to hold the pipes together
yeah,
so
it was
weren't losing
it
the
was so
water.
funny, but I've never seen anyone panic so much in a
I was
situation.
so feeling so bad because the water is such a resource here. And
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, Yuri, we can't, and there was no one around to tell. I had to like run around Project 4, like trying to find Thai staff that spoke no English. And I was like trying to explain, like, there's like water and it's like gushing and burst. And then eventually, like, the guy came over and had a look.
he was just like so calm.
Yeah, he was so calm, so cool. He was like, it's fine, like,
Just
come
leave
away.
it.
And then in 10 minutes, he came back with like the pipe part and like just fixed it instantly. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so
it
cool.
was just magic.
It was funny though.
And the second thing that happened to me was also in Project 4, yeah. So they made new concrete kind of layers on these parts of enclosures, and like it wasn't kind of told to us or anything. And then I was there with the mahout at the end of the day, and he told me to take out one of the what do you call them, hoses, out of the concrete. So I did that, but obviously the concrete stayed on my hands from like taking the hose out, and it dried and it burned my hands, and I realized what a stupid idiot, right? And and obviously, like I realized too when it was too late. Yeah. So my hands were like so like red and it's just
Painful,
horrible.
yeah.
Yeah. So please, if you're working with concrete, don't do what I did.
Okay, so a special thanks and shout out goes to all the mahouts that we've met in the centre. A few of them actually used to work in trekking camps, and they chose to, transition and work in the sanctuary for half the amount of money. And some of them actually decided to come with their elephants and stuff like that. So
It's
it's
really
amazing that they've chosen to come here and support like a sanctuary work rather than trekking camp work. So well done, guys.
Yeah, and if any mahout is listening to this, Leo. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching Laurie and Jiri Go Wild. We'll be releasing pictures and updates about our travels there. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or would like to just say hi, you can personal message us through Facebook or by emailing at ljgowild@gmail.com.
Yeah, so this is it, guys. Have a lovely day, whatever and whenever you are. Stay inspired, happy, and wild.
Much love, guys.
Bye.
Bye.